For a time more than 40 years, Reiner did not want to talk about one thing. When people asked him questions, he would talk about All in the Family, saying it was a show with good writing. He liked to talk about how it affected the country and what people thought of it. Reiner always avoided talking about Carroll O'Connor. On the show All in the Family, Reiner and Carroll O'Connor played characters who had different ideas, and they would often argue. They would yell at each other in a living room. This was like what was happening in the whole country, with people having different opinions about big issues. When the cameras were not rolling, the silence about their relationship made people talk even more about how much they disliked each other. Their big personalities clashed, and they had not forgiven each other. Before he passed away, Reiner finally decided to talk, and what Reiner said changed everything people thought they knew about the person who played Archie Bunker and about Reiner. The first big argument between Carroll O'Connor and Reiner happened when Reiner joined in the Family in 1971. From the start, Reiner knew that All in the Family was not a place where people were really friendly with each other. It was a place to work. In the Family was a show that was meant to make people argue, and Reiner's character, Michael Meathead Stivic, was supposed to make Carroll O'Connor's character, Archie Bunker, really angry. This was done on purpose to make the show more interesting and to make people think about issues. In the Family was a show that liked to stir up trouble, and Reiner's character was a big part of that. Mike said things to get a reaction from Archie to make him think about what he believed in. Mike wanted to show what Archie was like. When Reiner got there, O'Connor was already fighting with Norman Lear about what the show should say and how it should say it. O'Connor did not want Archie to be funny without showing the bad things about him. O'Connor thought that if Archie was just funny, he would start to seem okay. That would be bad. This fighting between O'Connor and Norman Lear happened all the time. It made things tense on the set. When Reiner arrived, he got caught up in all this tension away. The character Mike was talking about, Archie, was a part of this tension. O'Connor and Norman Lear had different ideas about Archie, and they argued about it a lot. Connor did not make Reiner feel welcome or comfortable. He looked at Reiner closely. When they were rehearsing, O'Connor would do things on purpose to throw Reiner off. He would change the timing of his lines, make the quiet parts longer than they were supposed to be, and say his lines with a lot of intensity. This made Reiner forget what he had practiced and just react naturally. The arguments they had on screen were very intense. O'Connor made sure they felt that way. He yelled at Reiner with strong feelings that Reiner said later he sometimes wondered if O'Connor was still really angry after the scene was over. O'Connor made the insults sound so real that Reiner felt like O'Connor was actually mad at him. The way O'Connor acted made the scenes feel very real. The meaningful confrontation with O'Connor happened when the cameras were not rolling. O'Connor never raised his voice. He corrected people quietly, like the time he told Reiner, "If you do not believe what you are saying, the audience will know before the laugh track does." This moment marked the start of something with O'Connor. O'Connor was not looking for people to just do what he said. He wanted people to have opinions and be able to stand up to Archie. Reiner figured out that to survive on the set of Archie, he had to meet O'Connor's standards, not try to avoid them. When All in the Family got to its season, the fights between Archie Bunker and Mike Stivic started to feel like they were just going through the motions. They fought because that is what people expected from them. Archie Bunker would say something mean, Mike Stivic would respond with his thoughts on what was right, and the people watching would laugh or agree or talk about it at home. Nothing really changed. Even the person who made the show, Reiner, said later that these arguments were not really going anywhere, they were just loud and repetitive. All in the Family changed with the episode called Two's a Crowd. So this thing. It seems like a good idea at first. They lock Archie and Mike in a room to save some cash and make the show longer. Archie and Mike get stuck in the storeroom of Archie's bar by accident. They are locked in overnight. Then a bottle of liquor shows up. Time starts to feel really slow. What starts as them arguing with each other, like they always do, turns into something more meaningful. Archie and Mike, they really start to talk, and Archie and Mike, they learn some things about each other. The thing that most people who watched the show did not know was that the feelings part of the episode was not even in the script. Carroll O'Connor had been getting ready for this moment for a long time. He had thought about what was going on inside Archie's head. He did this by himself because he thought that if he showed it too early, it would make the character not as good. When Mike finally said, "I don't understand how you get to feel this way about people," O'Connor knew this was the chance he had been waiting for. So of not answering Archie, told the truth for the first time, and Carroll O'Connor had Archie say what he really thought. And this was a big deal for the character Archie. Archie's father was a part of his life. He remembered his father with a lot of loyalty. He did not feel angry with him. When his father punished him, Archie saw it as a way to teach him something. He thought being locked up in his room was a way to learn. Archie even thought the mean things his father did were done because he loved him. Archie's father taught him how to play ball and was there when he took his steps. So Archie believed what his father told him about the world. If his father said some people were bad, Archie believed they were bad too. Archie thought that if he did not believe what his father said, it would be like he did not love him. Archie's father was the one who taught him things. Archie loved him for that. O'Connor said what that confession really meant in simple words. The bad thing got into the system. It was passed down to Archie. It became something Archie had to deal with because of his family. O'Connor was not trying to make excuses for the behavior, he was just trying to explain what happened. Reiner got it away. He did not try to argue or talk politics, he just changed the way Mike acted. He listened to what was being said. He let there be silence. When Archie finally fell asleep, Mike put a blanket on him. That was not something they planned, it was something Mike chose to do. From that point on, the way Mike and Archie fought with each other changed. Mike did not see Archie as someone he needed to beat, but as a man who was hurt by things that had been passed down to him. They still yelled at each other. It was not the same. The yelling was not about hate, it was about Mike and Archie trying to understand each other. Mike and Archie started to see that their conflict was not about winning or losing, but about Mike and Archie being human. When All in the Family ended in 1979, Carroll O'Connor walked away. He was still carrying around the weight of All in the Family and Archie Bunker with him. People could not separate Carroll O'Connor from Archie Bunker. He got letters that said he was a racist. Some people thought Archie Bunker was a guy, and they liked him, while other people did not like Archie Bunker at all. They thought he was a bad person, and they thought Carroll O'Connor believed the same things as Archie Bunker. Reiner watched all of this happen. He did not say anything, but it did not feel right to him. What he learned a time ago in that storeroom was important now, it really mattered to him. He was aware that Archie's hatred was something he got from someone, that he looked at it closely, and that he did it on purpose. He also knew that O'Connor really disliked everything that Archie stood for. When the camera was not on him, O'Connor was a quiet guy. He did not like going to parties in Hollywood. He liked to read books of being around a lot of people. O'Connor thought carefully before he said something. In interviews, O'Connor talked about Archie. He said Archie was a man who never smiled and never said anything. O'Connor explained that Archie was bitter because that is how he was raised. It was not something he chose to be. O'Connor said this was not an excuse for Archie. It was a reason why he was like that. This really affected Reiner as he started directing movies. You can see the influence of O'Connor in the work that Reiner did. The movie Stand By Me shows us that the bad things that happen to us when we are kids can affect us when we are grown up. Another movie, A Good Man, looks at how people in charge teach us to obey before we think about what is right and wrong. Reiner said that O'Connor taught him something important. People do not think deeply about things just because someone tells them to. What happens is that we get to know the characters. Then we decide what we think about them. The movie Stand By Me and movies, like A Few Good Men, make us think about these characters and what they do. Reiner was always very clear about his relationship with his partner. He said they never argued when the cameras were not rolling, and that they really loved each other. This love was real and not just an act. They did not try to get attention from the media. Their connection with each other was strong and based on trust. It was a relationship. When Carroll O'Connor died in 2001, Reiner did not feel the need to talk about their past together. He decided to say nothing because he thought the work they did together said everything that needed to be said about Reiner and his relationship. As the years went by and he got away, he started to see that when people do not talk, they can get the wrong idea about things. The man thought about this. He did not like it. He did not want people to misunderstand him or others. So he decided that silence was not okay with him anymore. The man realized that silence was a problem because it allowed people to keep thinking the things about each other. He wanted to talk and clear things up because he did not want misunderstanding to endure. The man did not want silence to be the reason people did not understand each other. Silence and misunderstanding were things that he could no longer accept. At the age of 78, Rob Reiner talked about Carroll O'Connor in an honest way. He did not try to defend himself or make things sound better than they were. Rob Reiner was not nostalgic or trying to put on a show. There was no need to protect stories or make people look good. Time made it possible for Rob Reiner to be clear about what happened. Now Rob Reiner felt it was his responsibility to say what he had been thinking for a time. What Rob Reiner said was simple and true. Rob Reiner finally said what Carroll O'Connor was like. Reiner now gets it that Carroll O'Connor spent his life doing something really tough for an actor. He had to show hatred in a real way so people would not think it was a good thing. He did this even if it meant a lot of people would not understand him. Reiner thinks Carroll O'Connor was brave to take on this kind of role because it is easy to get misunderstood when you are playing someone who hates things. Carroll O'Connor had to make sure people knew he was just acting, that he did not really hate things or people would think he was a bad person. O'Connor knew what he was getting himself into. He figured some people would like Archie Bunker, not think about what he was saying, while others would get the actor mixed up with the character. He was okay with that. O'Connor believed that showing the things in life was more important than being popular. Connor rarely spoke up for himself in public. He never really talked about Archie or fixed things when people did not understand. O'Connor thought that his work would show people the truth one day. Now Reiner really gets how lonely it must have been for O'Connor to be hated or liked or not understood and just be quiet about it so the story could be told. Looking back, Reiner says that what really scared him when he was working on the All in the Family set was not really about dealing with people. It was about not being good enough for O'Connor standards. Every time there is a pause, every time there is silence, and every time something is made up on the spot, Reiner thinks that the music teacher is trying to see if he is being real or taking the way out. This used to feel like a lot of pressure to Reiner. Now he sees it as the music teacher trying to help him, which is really what a mentor is supposed to do. Carroll O'Connor never wanted people to be loyal to him or look up to him. He just wanted people to be honest. The truth that Reiner finally tells us is easy to understand and really sad. Carroll O'Connor played a mean character on television so that other people would not have to do it. He dealt with a lot of hate and confusion. He felt bad about the things his character did, but he did not become a bad person like the one he played. So what do you think about Carroll O'Connor? Do you think people did not understand him, or did they finally understand him when it was too late? You can write your thoughts in the comments. And if this story surprised you, subscribe for more untold truths behind television's most dangerous legends.